Good morrow, lovely citizens. Welcome out to CBGPod episode number 19. It's the last year of our teenage years, Steve. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm cracking up.
Oh, boy.
This is Steve.
Well, Steve, what are we drinking right now?
The Funky Buddha Save Some Room for Later German chocolate.
German cocklet?
German chocolate. Words not good, beer is speak, not good is.
Double brown ale with coconut, chocolate, and vanilla added. Without further ado, let's do the do.
That thing we do.
Oh
This
my!
is only my second sip, and I'm already out of it.
I'll be honest. There's been some German chocolate cake beers before, and I think one was fairly local. I think it was D9. Does that sound right? I thought it was D9. I wasn't.
I'm looking at the archive right here.
Yeah. No, we haven't had it here. We've had it not on the podcast, but I've had it in general.
That didn't count.
That's okay. That's true. Man, we have to start over on Untapped.
If it's not beer potted or saucered, it doesn't count.
Okay. Well, that's probably the best German. That's the best like coconutty, chocolatey one I've had. Although I will say Oscar Blues' Death by Coconut's really good, and I need to purvey some of that. Have you had that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They're releasing that one, I think, in Brevard coming up pretty soon.
Cool.
Have you been to Oscar Blues Brevard?
Negative.
What are you doing tomorrow? Nah, we can't go tomorrow. I gotta work.
Put in the fun and funeral again.
Oh, really?
My dad's aunt. She was 91.
That's a long.
It's too soon, man.
That's a long ass. I mean, people do say life is short, but
Except when it isn't.
except when it isn't. I mean,
Yeah,
but Keith Richards is still roaming the.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I was listening to JRE, and he had Diaz on, which is always a riot. And they were like going through Mick Jagger's workout regimen, and it's ridiculous how much that guy still works out. And he's like pushing 80, but Keith Richards is still alive too, and he snorted his dad's ashes mixed in with coke. So
your mileage may vary.
absolutely, that's why your fad diet. That's why your friend who does the same diet you do lost 25 pounds, and you've put on 2 because everybody's body's different. So Steve and I are on the drinking beer diet.
A handsome amount of beer and bouncing out with baby carrots has worked wonders to keep me at $1.65.
So I guess stocking baby carrots is what's keeping me.
Yes.
Nice.
You sell them, I'll eat them. Dude, I'm so confused.
Why's that?
Whoppers, the candy, taste nothing like hamburgers.
Well, the burgers don't taste anything like candy.
No.
What the we need to make a Whopper with Whoppers. Flame broiled.
Cooking with candy.
Hey, everyone. I'm Andy Candy. That never fails to get.
Damn funny.
Oh, my God. It never fails to get the reaction you always hope for is the what the fuck, and then the hilarious laughter right afterwards. You put that Butterfinger burger down. That's my favorite part of everything. We watched that when the power went out at work. I was showing a bunch of people that work at the store. I was like, yeah, watch this shit. There's nothing else to do. Well, since last pod, I've upgraded my piece of garbage-ass phone, which we're going to shoot in the mountains. Thomas is going to bring his gun, and we're actually going to shoot it in the mountains.
How remote are we?
I mean,
Enough.
we're going to be in the middle of Republicanville. I don't really think it matters.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the Democratic county seat building in, I think it's Silva, is like a closet. It's so hilariously small. I was like, I bet you they don't get much traffic up this way. But I got a Galaxy S8 now, and I got to say I'm madly in like with it. It's really good. It works.
Welcome to the light side.
It's really nice. And I'll never get anything else but a Samsung, I think, just because the aftermarket support, and if something breaks, they usually know how to fix it.
Are you mining your phone?
Not anymore. Oh, boy. So, Funky Buddha saves the day again. Don't think I've really had one I don't like yet. I'm waiting for them to open up a tap room here in the Kakalakis. That would be super groovy.
I'm going to hold my breath right now.
Oh, and I'll go on a hunger strike. I don't mind stealing bread. Speaking of that, we were going to do this Tuesday, and then something came up. Steve's life. So
Yeah, work.
but we're glad you're here with us.
Huh?
Yeah.
I almost had to work.
It's haunted.
I was like, I was scheduled to work at a gig today, but job A ran late and job 2 got picked up. I could have picked something else up. I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
So
if you're out there, folks, IT Lackey needs better work and better money in no particular order.
Yeah, because you can put up with a lot of shit if you act. Let me rephrase that. So you can put up with getting paid a little less if you genuinely enjoy going to your job, and the people who work there are really cool, and you don't have to work third shift. Usually, you can put up with other stuff if you're
If anything, I'm mostly like my coworkers, and that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. I like
they're a nice bunch, and I've known them for almost 13 years now.
I like 25% of the ones I work with. The other 25 I tolerate, and then the other 50% I just don't like at all. But the good news is I don't ever really have to talk to them. We got a say goodbye to your cart. Thanks, Advanced Auto Parts. I've already bought the fucking parts.
Pardon?
I saved it in the cart just so I knew what parts to buy later, so I didn't have to have multiple, and then I didn't delete the cart, and they've been hounding me. I was like, I already bought it. You guys have this in your system. You got the technology. I've already bought these parts. I put new brake pads on the Jeep.
What were brake pads? Aren't you going to need brake pads later?
Tommy just sold 500,000 brake pads.
Well, I bought wiper blades yesterday, but that cost $12, and Costco will not be hounding me about buying more wiper blades.
They better not.
No.
Well, you have a rear wiper.
Yeah, they don't sell 11 inches though.
Yeah, I think mine was smaller than that. I don't remember. I took it off anyway.
I rather like it.
Well, mine's
straight, back window or
mine's
something?
straight up and down anyway. Any water that gets on, it's not on there for long. So a question from the Peanut Gallery from Mr. Mark Kniesny, probably our most dedicated fan.
Yay!
You guys should talk about the journalistic / linguistic / philosophical conundrum of what is a sports car. Mostly because the argument can be made that most other entirely subjective segment titles, GT car, muscle car, pony car, all really stem from
sports cars.
From things that are left over, excluded from sports car. It's worth a discussion. In his opinion, sports car is a 2-seater, period. You can refine it from there, but that's his base criteria. Also, pony car is a useless term. Let's talk about this, because I figured this will be in your wheelhouse without much pre-looking shit up, because this is all subjective. So I
think he's really onto something here, that sports car then sporty car sure seems awful close. That hey, you've got fast 2-door thing with insurance seat. Well, that's close enough for my liking.
Have you heard DeMuro talk about his hatred of insurance seat? They put that there for insurance.
Yeah,
it's funny as hell.
The insurance companies are well aware of how many seats you have in this.
Yeah, and I'm getting with Mark about this, but okay, so it's got to be a 2-seater. All right, so are there any? Well, I don't know.
What if you've got a useless back seat? I figure that's close enough.
M3 has a back seat unless you get like the, I don't know, BMWs. So
I'm sure there could be a backseat delete to save you 50 pounds.
I'm sure, but an M3 is a sports car. I don't like them, but it's a sports car. I think his Z4M he liked is 2-seater though, right?
Yeah, I think all the Z series BMWs are 2-seaters. Z1, Z3, Z4, and that new Supra.
Ugh, that's ugly.
It's like, dude, the 2000 Celica's back.
For real. I dated a girl that drove one of those. It was as horrible to ride in as you would think it is.
I'm only interested in those who harvest their engine.
So, that's a good, because a Corvette is a sports car to me. It's not a muscle car.
That is the quintessential American sports car.
But is the new Mustang GT a sports car? Because it has the independent rear suspension now.
I'd be inclined to think so. Or like, that's a muscle car, a pony car. Like,
pony car is a stupid fucking term.
Because it's a Mustang or it's something in competition with Mustang.
Well, what other cars?
That's why they've landed on that phrase instead of a muscle car.
Well, what other cars have horses for names?
Bronco.
And that's not.
that's a big pony car.
The Mustang 2.
A Mitsubishi Colt.
Yeah. Horse cars. Bringing new horsepower to you. Yeah, that is a stupid term. I don't know where that came from.
How about the Mitsubishi Stallion?
Wink.
Well, they tried.
I'm inclined to disagree. Well, the Miata is definitely a sports car, but it's also a roadster. So are all sports cars... all roadsters sports cars?
You know, if it's not going to be the fastest thing on the road, at least it's an entertaining car.
True.
And sports car is kind of a strange term that, are you explicitly using it for sport or just for cruising? Are you going to use your car to play tennis or soccer? No. Are you going racing in it? Perhaps. Against others or yourself? Perhaps. Just for it to be fast car? Absolutely.
But just because
then it gets really confusing when you've got Mazda using sport as the base model. What sport are you playing in your CX-5?
True. Well,
getting stuck off-road?
The base model Jeep Cherokee was a sport. And then I think it was the Country was the second one. And then the Limited was the top of the line.
Limited is always such a funny phrase for cars. Like, if it's limited edition, you cranked out 20,000 in that trim. No, it isn't.
I forgot. I think it was DeMuro reviewed an old 911, had a lot of the stuff deleted, and it was actually, at the time, it was cheaper than the one that had all the stuff on it because, well, that makes sense. Now, the less they take off, or the more they take off of it, the more you have to charge. This is fucking stupid.
Yep.
It's really stupid.
The fact you don't own a Porsche is going to cost you $500,000.
Thanks, Jeremy. But so it's not necessary that it's a sports car if it's a two-seater or a two-seat convertible. Can we think of one? I'd say the Geo Metro. That was not a sports car.
Yeah, that would be just a tiny sports car. It's a bowling ball car. You can use the car as a bowling ball. Therefore, it becomes a sport in its own right.
Have you ever opened the door on one of those or a Ford Festiva?
No, just how tinny it is.
Oh my God. It's like if you made a fist, the door and the door panel is thinner than that. If you get into an accident, you will be Swiss cheesed. It's the most dangerous, but you get 50 mpg and it's not even a hybrid.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can get a lot done when the car weighs under 2,000 pounds.
True, because a buddy of mine got his second DUI at 19 years old, and the only car he could afford insurance on was a Ford Festiva.
A Reliant Robin.
So he bought, for $1,500, he bought two of them. Yeah, it was a buy one, get one free deal, I guess, because one of them ran, one of them was for parts.
Key used to do the same thing. Buy an Optima, get a Rio free.
It's a great way to do business if you need a parts car. I did think about flipping Jeep Cherokees, not like that, not like those guys do, but buying them.
You just take one hand here, and then lift.
Something like that.
Okay, well, you need a steeper hill to roll them properly.
AJ Smash. This is a good, do you think a BMW M3 Coupe is a sports car?
I've been going to... My immediate thought's yes.
Is the four-door M3 a sports car, though? It would be an M4. M4 is a coupe.
The new numbering's dumb, and they all sound like wet farts now.
Yeah, they do. Well, let's just keep it at the two.
So what if you only have one sports car with four doors, the 89 Maxima?
That's what it is. I was hoping you would.
On there.
I was hoping you would bring that up. I was hoping you'd bring that up. That's good. That's a good point. Well, you know what? I see your two-door four-seater, and I raise you a four-door two-seater. It doesn't exist.
Probably not natively. It's I can only imagine
Crazy Yugo.
If there were to be a Charger in Demon trim, would be about the only thing that could do that. I don't believe they're doing that, but I could imagine one could be out there that you've got something pretty sedate looking, but it's got the factory 840 horsepower motor in it. Hardy.
And I'm sure it's fun, but you can't have that much fun on the street without seriously risking some jail time or death. So there is a limit. There's a point of diminishing returns here, and I think we've pretty much. I would just like to go from 0 to 100 as fast as possible because I've been up. I'm sure allegedly you've been up to 100, just like I've allegedly been 100 miles per hour in a car on the street. And it's not
kilometers an hour.
Not that quite as dangerous. Yes, it's not quite as dangerous as you would think, depending on the road. But when you start to get up to the 160s, 170s, 180s, you will liquefy anything you hit, and it gets kind of dangerous after that. But so, are we in agreement though that all right? So, to be classified as a muscle car, it's definitely just a car that's straight line speed only. Okay, we're in agreement. It helps if you say that in the mic because I don't think people can see you nod.
You can't hear my head rattle.
So that's what that is. A sports car is something that is meant to be enjoyed in all facets. So, shit. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. So a sports car would be meant to be enjoyed in other ways.
Lots of power in a passenger.
Yeah. So fun in the So just a fun, sporty driving experience. This is hard. How do you? Oh, Merriam-Webster. knock,
Jacks
knock.
up your insurance rates in a hurry. That's a good start.
Well, isn't it funny though that a buddy of ours on the S2000 forums went from I think AP2, early AP2 like mine, so he had an 0405 S2K, and went to a first-gen Viper, and his insurance went down.
Just older car.
Older car,
And
no airbag. This was an early
which is
Viper.
impressive because at the time of its arrival, everything on market was moving the airbags, if not still saddled with automatic seatbelts. Woof. And it had neither.
Whoever thought that was a good idea needs to be waterboarded, because that's the worst idea in the world. Because when the motor starts to go out, and then you open everything works fine, the lights work fine, you open the door and the see.
Oh, good. Now my arm's going to get stuck in the web when I make a turn.
Yeah. Or I like the door. I don't mind the door-mounted ones. Some of the Starions and Conquests had them. The 80s cars were big on them.
Which is really entertaining to see when the retractors give out. So then your seatbelt's getting stuck in the door all the time. See every 89 Regal ever.
Yep.
Two-door one. And then that's simply a car with 2 doors and 4.5 seats.
We're just going to cover all of the...
the varying degrees of cars with 2 doors.
Yes. Or 3. Have you seen the new Veloster?
No.
Oh, wow. It's handsome. It is super handsome. DeMuro reviewed that. This is like a Doug DeMuro fucking fest today. But
for those not in the know, yesterday's episode, The Smoking Tire, was Doug DeMuro himself.
I'm inclined
he's now got a Land Rover summering in Cape Cod.
Well, here's the Veloster N, which is the sporty model, which I don't.
For Nürburgring, we're a Korean company, and we're hailing around that fucking racetrack.
Something like that. That's handsome. I like that. Hyundai did it up. Oh, and by the way, 270 horsepower now. What?
They've figured out how to make more faster turbos.
So my definition, let's see if we can get a good...
I'm just waiting for them to jump the shark and have the Kia Soul in a 270 horsepower hamster box.
I was going to say, that's some fast-ass hamsters,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Harvey the Wonder Hamster.
He does a bite, he does the squeal, only rolls around on his hamster wheel.
Harvey the Wonder
Hamster! Never had one lesson.
Yes.
That's a better clink for once.
I had a couple lessons.
These glasses we all have trouble with.
I know, and they are crisp. They're real glasses, and they clink. But when they're full, they don't clink. They thud. I'm just gonna say a sports car is a nimble, enjoyable car to drive at its limits. It's not necessarily the fastest, but it would be. I'd say a sports car is something you could take to an autocross or a track and have a lot of fun. And
is it a car your mother-in-law's going to hate? Then we've got the thing for you.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Miata's a sports car. I mean, you have these...
No, the most autocross tracked time-trialed car is Miata.
Miata's a
They
sports
sold
car.
1 million of them, and it's following from the cheap British sports cars of the 60s, except done better.
Way better. God, 89, I think, was the first year of the Miata.
And I think 90 model year, but 89 was the first they were on sale.
I think Japan was 89.
Automotive numbering being off.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that old Top Gear episode when they're talking about the debut of the Miata and the debut of the Lexus LS400?
Yeah.
Which is just funny, like, no, we're not sure if the Japanese with this Toyota brand are going to make it. Yeah, they did okay.
Surprise!
Yeah, that was $1 billion well spent.
Well, do you remember since you're local to the area, just like me, do you remember the Pontiac, Buick, GMC, Isuzu too?
Yeah.
I'm glad you remember that. And 2 out of 4 are defunct. And 1 is...
That's funny. It's like, because I've got one and my brother had one or the other.
Your brother had
Do not miss that rodeo.
Oh, that's right. And then, why did Honda decide it was a good idea to badge engineer a rodeo into a passport?
At the time, they didn't have any sport utility, and they needed to do something in a hurry. So I guess they hammered something out. So it's really bizarre to think of the jumped connections from there to there.
And the Acura Trooper.
Yep, the Acura SLX. So, oh, yes, I'm driving an Acura Sex. What?
I want your
Sex.
SLX. They missed a brilliant marketing strategy with George Michael.
Dude, Colin's dad had a Trooper of that vintage.
Oh.
It barfed its engine in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. That was a horrible, which
is strange because Mike's Rodeo saw 230 before he finally traded that in.
It probably didn't see it very happily, though.
Oh, no, it was a miserable piece of shit.
Yeah, but you could get it in a stick.
It did make it. Yep.
You get a pack,
unfortunately, that was not. I remember, first test driving it because that was initially my sister's car. Mm-hmm. That thing was peppy when it was much younger.
Yeah, and even my Jeep is 2-wheel drive, but it's right at 3,000 pounds, whereas basically any modern SUV you get that's, I would say, bigger than, well...
Your Jeep.
Or
the Vibe.
The smallest one, the new Renegade, I parked beside one the other day, and the new Renegade's bigger than mine. It is. It's bigger.
I would not have guessed that.
It is. It's bigger.
That they look tiny. Like every time I see one, it's like, oh, baby Jeep.
It's
I like the
wider.
styling of those.
It's wider.
I wouldn't trust that Fiat, but I like the way they look.
It's wider. It is a little longer. It's the same height, but mine has way better ground clearance. The approach angle is about the same, but up underneath the underpinnings, mine's higher. I will never. I'm doing a resto. I'm gonna recover the visors. I told Steve before we got on air. I ripped off the gray cloth. I'm doing black visors and redoing the interior in black. I'm gonna keep that fucking thing.
Meanwhile, it's covered by visors and zip pockets, so I have more stuff to get stuff lost. It's like, what do I have? Pay stubs and postcards, pins, combs, headphones, just other little stuff that's tucked away up under the sun visor, and forget about it.
Well, if your name rhymed with Pumice Laylock, you'd have half-eaten chicken sandwiches and other shit in your car, because that's disgusting.
It'll eventually be chicken jerky. What you talking about?
Jerky. I'm gonna get the car Mako'd. I'm gonna get the Jeep Mako'd. But
so you want your paint to wear off on a day like today?
It's
raining in Charlotte, folks.
Here's what I'm going to do, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to be talked out of it. I don't have the energy to paint it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take it to a paintless dent repair place, or I have a guy come out, and I'm going to have him. There's not many dents on it, let's be honest, except Justin when he went to close the back door with his butt, and his butt weighs about 60 pounds more than my butt does, and put a dent in it. But I'll have them knock the little dents, that big dent out, and then I'm going to wet sand everything, and I'm going to take the bumpers and the trim off, and I'm just going to drive it to Mako, and I'll have them spray it. Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to have them spray it. For $450, they'll paint it. For $800, they'll paint it and clear it. So if everybody has said, if you do the prep...
Do you want to repaint it again?
Well, they say if you do the prep work. The thing is, too, what they do, they just kind of lightly scuff... Whatever you bring to them, they lightly scuff it just so paint will stick to it long enough for you to get it out of their shop. But if you actually do the prep work for everything, it can be a decent paint job. And by the way, it was a $1,700 Jeep, so their paint job's still probably going to look better than the one I have on it now, even though it's not terrible. It's starting to fade on the hood, but the sides and everything aren't that bad.
Yours is fading more slow than mine is on a younger car in
Yeah.
the same color.
It's funny how, like, Honda's run forever, but have you noticed how many Hondas with original paint all have paint fading on the hood?
Jason's 06 TSX is silver and it's going gray.
Yeah.
It's looking rough. It's been a wonderful car for him, but the paint looks a bit rubbish. It did spend its earlier days in Connecticut, though.
Honda spent... Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that.
He specifically wanted a TSX without the wood interior, so it's got the gray...
Just black and gray.
Yeah, black and gray, whatever have you.
I kind of liked... It was just enough wood grain interior to not look ostentatious. It was just enough... Because all I had was that one strip.
The little accents here and there. Like, everyone gives old cars such a hard time. Like, it's got the fake wood trim. Like, well, you got fake wood trim on the inside of your car.
Yeah, well, if you have laminate floor in your house, you're not really allowed to bitch about that then, are you? Because you get fake wood in your fucking house.
That's why I enjoy my fake stone more.
Which is
like I'm bored sitting on the toilet. I'm just gonna look at the where the tiles repeat themselves.
The thing I didn't like about the Acura's interior, though, the only thing I didn't like was the tan. It's so hard to keep them clean. They look really super duper nice and classy, but oh god, like you just had to watch. Make sure you always had clean pants on, guys, because it just would smudge. And those weren't the clean. Those weren't the most comfortable seats in the world. I'll be honest. They were set up for sport. Like I'm a cloth seat guy. Like when I do the seats in the S2000 eventually, I'm going to go probably cloth. Either that or do the cloth outside and like the leather accented center when I get them reapplied. I'm thinking about getting like a shitty, like keeping my seats and then selling them because they're in really good shape, and then buying a really beat up set for very cheap and then just sending them off to upholstery. I figure I'll probably come out ahead of that one.
You need some LA bus fabric.
But I'm doing blue.
Well, Ferris Mustang.
I think I'm going to do the blue interior because the S2K is...
Oh, that's what you wanted all along.
I think it was because I like different, but blue and silver look really good together. The red and silver you could buy, but I kind of wanted something different because you don't like the CR interior, that yellow...
Do you think tan's tough to keep clean?
That and used CR seats with rash on them are still going for like $1,200 a pair, and I just can't justify that. So I think I'm just gonna do like a blue cloth, real nice. You know that's
when confronted with the same thing. I just put Costco neoprene seat covers in mine a year and a half ago.
Neoprene's the way to go.
Dude, they've been awesome. Mm-hmm. They're showing zero wear of like this black with silver trim on them, and they fit well enough that it takes people a double take to realize these are seat covers.
Are they waterproof or water resistant?
They were advertised as water resistant, and I did put a can of waterproofing spray on them, but haven't really attempted that. You know, today would have been a good test, but I really don't care.
Do you remember the comedian, The Amazing Jonathan?
Yeah.
I think it was him.
Is he still among us? Because last I knew, he had like a heart condition and didn't have long.
Do not know, but
he was one of my brother's favorite comics. Actually,
it was great. I think it was him that he said the difference between waterproof and water resistant is waterproof doesn't let water in. Water resistant goes no, and then the second time it goes fuck it, come on in.
Story of my last Friday. Best valet shift for $1.67. However,
yeah,
it was cold, wet, and miserable at the end of it.
Yeah. Welcome to Seattle. No wonder they made such great music. All they had to do was sit in their houses all day. I
was feeling very grungy at the end of that.
We got several. Let's do the mango next.
Yes.
You can't have a Domingo.
I wish you could handle the mango.
Oh boy,
yeah,
I'm ready for this one.
Open the mango.
You have to open the mango because my bottle opener's downstairs. And while you're doing that, I'm going to eat a not quite... Well, you know what?
Yes,
let's see.
Eat a fake Twix.
Maltesers.
fake Whoppers. They're good.
Whoppers. And fake Kit Kats. The only real ones we have are Snickers.
Today's candy selection brought to you both by Aldi and Lidl.
Well, the fake Twix just taste more like regular Twix.
Yeah. It was just funny that, like, they're delicious and they are in these unmarked yellow packages.
The reason I didn't want to eat these before finishing is I didn't want to counteract the Funky Buddha German chocolate cake.
No.
It would just take away all the sweetness. Oh, shit. I gotta take away all the sweetness.
Here, have some aspartame.
Which part of you?
My energy.
This smells weird. Okay, there we go. I think I was just smelling part of the Snickers wrapper.
Previous beer that was funky.
Mm-hmm. These are all courtesy of Total Wine and More. Steve, what are we drinking now?
Lagunitas Mozengo, a mosaic hop ale brewed with mango juice. You cannot handle this beer.
ABV?
7.7%.
Nice. The last one was 8.8. We must find a 6.6.
Kind of trooper. The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. So, what's at the heart of it? Is it patient and diligent servant of the committed messenger through their many routes and vessels? The salient soldier, slinging suds on the front lines daily? Or the very brewers themselves? The answer is, we can tell you here. From the seed to sprout the fruit, back to seed, we're all tangled up in the same vine. And while the fruit is momentary, the roots hold on for another season. It's all just a matter of perspective. How's the weather out there? Not good. Give us a call. 707-769-4495. Cheers.
All right. Lagunitas, let's see if we can handle the mango. Smells the part. That is so anticlimactic.
Cheers later.
We got to keep her.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. I like doing this. I love stouts and I love IPAs, but like when you have stout after stout after stout after stout, or you do the same thing with IPAs, you just lose all the flavor profiles and they just all kind of mesh into one big.
That's kind of the running gag I have with the Costco super discount IPA pack. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have IPA, Session IPA, Pilsner, and American Pale Ale. They all taste the same. It's just It's just the palers are a little stronger than the Pilsner, but drinking them back to back to back to back, forget it. It's just the best cheap beer you can find at 90 cents a bottle.
Yeah, I was going to say find better beer for cheaper, and that's not reduced, and get back to me.
Well, the Lidl selections haven't sucked.
That's true. Everyone you've brought here has been
they
good.
may or may not be second or third hand Anheuser-Busch's, but the price, the savings, man.
But the savings, man. The savings.
It's $5 for a 6-pack. Yes, hypnotize me more, Beast. You are delicious.
I haven't turned the autocorrect or anything off the new phone, and Emily texted me. She said I was packing up on the way home, and I went K, and I put potting, and it corrected it to pudding. And I'm not going to change it because it's still effective. It's one of the few times that autocorrect corrected it and I went, you know what? I'm not going to change that. Even though I've literally never called her pudding. Always boo-boo kitty fuck.
Thanks, Jay. It's already in your name.
Yes. Well, all right, so we're officially, Steve and I are going to completely distance the car world from pony car. That's not a thing anymore. That's stupid. You got muscle cars and sports cars. And just because it's a sports car, just because it's a muscle car doesn't mean it's a sports car. And vice versa.
Thing that goes fast.
Which way does it go? That'd be good. Which way does it go fast? Does it go fast only in a straight line? It's a muscle car. Does it go fast in the twisties? It's a sports car. But the CTS-V is a sedan. But that's a sports sedan.
Yeah.
So that's a different genre. So I think
but a sedan's a car.
It is. It is.
And now nobody's buying them.
Maybe because we just still can't afford them.
That too.
And because you want the second gen, not the first gen, because the first gen just doesn't look that good. And my buddy had one, not a V, but he had the regular model, and the problems.
Badly did that thing fall apart?
Mm-hmm.
I've
Absolutely.
seen a couple of those, and it's evident this is a 2005 GM product that's not out of Fresno.
No, not really. Well,
Fremont, never mind. Wherever,
man, they all run together.
Wherever my Pineota's from. Whatever they built before the Tesla was being built there.
Tesla dealership in Charlotte has plenty to choose from.
The old Mercury dealer,
That's
which
so
is interesting
funny.
because during whatever snafu a couple years ago, like they were empty.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is a sports car is whatever you want it to be, and there's not really a definition for it that we can think of without looking up at Merriam-Webster.
It's I think decent engine, decent handling, and seating for one more seems to do the trick.
Yeah, pretty much. I was totally going to go, is a McLaren a sports car? Because a McLaren has 3 seats. McLaren F1.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
There you go, Mark. There's something to ponder about. Well, there we go. We set out to say what is a sports car, and we still don't know. So it's like, what do these lyrics mean to this song? It's all up to interpretation, man.
Does he really want an answer or just want to hear us just rant about it?
Probably that.
That's more fun.
Probably that.
I am running on no sleep and
Till
on my
Brooklyn?
second beer. Yes.
Sweet. I think Ad Rock and the other one that was alive. I can't fucking remember.
Not MCA.
MCA's, that's right, MCA's dead. It's Ad Rock and, God, what's the other one? Adam
Yauch's the one that passed.
Okay. I don't remember.
Listen, all y'all, it's a mirage. Telling all y'all, it's dead air.
Dead air doesn't say no. Because they were on Conan? Or they were on something, and they were talking about the sabotage, what sabotage means. Did you see that on?
I saw something that after 24 years, they finally revealed it was about an irritating sound engineer.
That's it?
Okay.
That's very anticlimactic. A lot of songs are like that, though. But then other songs you realize are completely not about what you thought they were. But just dissect the lyrics a little
That
bit.
video is still my favorite buddy cop movie.
That's a great one. But what's funny is you don't like Paul Revere, and I really like Paul Revere. But
2 Adams and a Mike.
Mike D is the one that's still alive. He's the one that had the higher pitch. Like, no, Mike D was
With the master plan.
my name is Mike D, and I'm about to get money. You're more versed on Beasties than I am. I had early experience with them in the 80s with all the big hits off of, I think...
You were listening to them when you were 3?
I'm the youngest. And Friday night videos that came on Fox.
It was not until Sabotage was in constant MTV rotation I was aware of them. Loved that. Loved Intergalactic.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was 96. Paul's Boutique was
that
when?
Was 89.
89. And the one
they got away with murder sampling wise
on
that stuff.
Oh, of course they did. What was Fight for Your Right to Party on?
86.
License to Ill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like the two titles with Ill, and those are my favorite albums. So just like, yes, I'm a big fan of License to Ill Communication.
That's right. And then, okay, Nas had Illmatic. It's not the same genre.
That's what we call slush boxes now. It's an Illmatic.
Yes, I'll just call it a Nas. What is that? It's a Nas.
No, then people. It's got nitro. Can't do that. No.
Never. Yeah,
that's just nasty.
That is correct. I was singing "Fight for Your Right to Party" when I was too young to be singing "Fight for Your Right to Party."
Did your dad find your best porno mag?
No, I found my dad's best porno mag.
You too?
You know what? I didn't really even still know what a pussy looked like after seeing all that. Need a goddamn bush hug to get through that. I'm like, man, what? How do you? Where do you start?
The beginning.
Like a blacksmith's apron. That was interesting.
No, probably the funniest description of that was, it looks like Lenny Kravitz is trying to tie her shoes.
Let's get off of Bush and talk about Bush. But more
Glycerine.
All right.
The best thing that became of that was Michael Birbiglia bit talking about my girlfriend's boyfriend.
Yeah.
At the time, the song Glycerine's big.
Yeah. I love Birbiglia. I love him. He stepped back
He's
a little
still
bit.
sleepwalking with himself.
Yeah. But until I guess Beasties were still making music until Adam died. Then
Yeah.
God, how many albums? If we had to if we had to guess without looking it up, because we just named 4.
It gets real zany with albums proper versus singles, EPs, like short stuffs, whatever have you.
Yeah.
Or the compilations, like their early punk days before they were rapping, was Some Old Bullshit, the best title ever. So I've got that somewhere.
I never considered them hip hop though. Paul Revere's probably their most hip hop song. What You Want's probably a little bit influenced, but I don't really even think they have a genre.
Well, you can't pin them down as one. Like, it's certainly white boy rapping in some of it. It's certainly punk in some of it. I know, techno rock in some of it. It's there's no single genre for them, and that's okay.
That's perfectly okay. More acts should be like that instead of just sticking to one. But I mean, all right. So there's
speaking of like trying to have like white boy rapping. Kalen really did not care for Two Skinny J's nor the Bloodhound Gang. Like playing some of that, it's like nope.
Oh.
Some Blanca Becerra from PA.
Or is
it Becerra Blanca?
I've never knowingly listened to Two Skinny J's.
They only had a couple of songs that made it to radio. I Have Hardly Grown Up Since You Met Me.
Not ringing a bell.
That was the biggest one.
If that was the biggest one, I probably haven't heard the second one.
Yeah. Couldn't even think, like, what was the other thing that made it to radio? What's a radio? I think you'd like them. I saw them play in Raleigh back in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot going on, except for this one guy standing by the mic. And only, like, in one song that he sing. But, like, the whole other rest of the time, like, he might as well have been in the British Royal Guard without the funny hat.
Oh. Here's a fun story for you. So the band Hell Yeah,
it was basically Pantera by a different name.
Yeah, and it's garbage. It's so over the top. Just all the horrible things about metal. And you know me, I'm a Pantera guy, and I do love me some Mudvayne, but Chad Gray. He ain't kind of got it anymore.
I actually saw Mudvayne years ago, and at the time, a friend of mine was in town going to grad school with a bunch of Germans, so brought a German guy to the Mudvayne show.
And he said about Mudvayne,
This isn't heavy enough. It's like he's been the Wacken,
yeah.
So
yeah,
he's seen more interesting stuff.
Rocking with Wacken,
yes.
But
also that 2SJ show,
yeah.
Lead singer tied to his microphone is a gigantic clear dildo. So the whole time he's singing into a dildo.
Oh boy. So about like Hell Yeah is like bro metal to the extreme, like Five Finger Death Punch and shit like that. And they had booked a show at, I think it was the House of Blues. I don't think it was House of Blues. It was somewhere. It was a small indoor venue, and they double booked the venue. So you have Hell Yeah, which is a screamy bro metal act, and they double booked, and they shared the stage with the person they double booked with. The double booked person was a painter. They had some sort of painting something going on. So while this metal show's going on...
I mean, does this mean this painter's only using one color? Blue?
Yes. It's funny to watch this show because you have everybody playing their instruments and singing, headbanging, and moshing. Everybody in the audience is moshing, and there's a guy in the corner with a spotlight on him painting. Permission to see this video real quick?
Go on. So, how'd you get kicked off YouTube? We played the audio from whatever the hell this is.
I don't think
anyone's really going to give a shit.
Hey, not about this shitty fucking band. And it pains me to say, oh, it was a House of Blues in Cleveland.
Sometimes it doesn't rock.
Clearly a guy fucking painting. So that it's great. Let's see if I can.
Sometimes little trees aren't so happy.
Oh boy, here we go.
Full shit.
All right, well,
Mac on.
All right, you see, there's the canvas, there's the band, there's the canvas, and there's a guy painting. See, he's painting. It's clearly a guy painting on the stage while the show's going on.
You know, I think more musical acts need to have art created during them, because during said show, at least with that, the art is not the music.
Well, they
that shit's gonna make me the deaf.
Pretty much, and you know me, I do like my growly, screamy vocals, even though I don't really do them that well. I like listening to it and watching it, but that's heinous, and I can't do it. I think they should have the sketch artists from Courtrooms do metal shows. Great.
That's kind of brilliant.
I feel like they would need like a fancy job title name, though. I don't know what you'd call them. Because what do you call the person in the courtroom that
does the typing?
No,
stenographer.
I know that. The drawing though. The courtroom renderings.
Courtroom sketch artist. I don't know if there's a different phrase for that.
I thought I had some obscure name like stenographer. Cartographer.
Stenographer. Yes.
Or cartographers.
We were making a map of the court case.
Of Africa. Did you see?
Blessed be thy reigns. That was a point of discussion. Let's go around.
You know what? Did you see?
Why? What in the hell? Like, this is just old enough Biafra doesn't exist yet before it no longer existed.
Did you see? I think it was a tweet.
I'm so curious if Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys exploded in the last 2 years or not.
Maybe. But there was a tweet. It was like, travel ban is finally lifted from Chad. And then the first comment was a guy named Chad. It said, finally.
What I've been listening to a lot lately is the band The Damned, courtesy of Henry Rollins and his music podcast I've told you a time or six about.
Yes.
That's one of his favorite bands. And at the ends of episodes 499 and now 500, the second half have been all The Damned.
When did he start?
The earliest I could find is May of 2004. And apparently that was the beginning of it back on Indie 103 in California.
All right, so that was pretty much... That probably wasn't the year, but that's got to be around the time that podcasting really just kind of began, because you had Adam Carolla.
So that was simply a radio broadcast, which had been recorded and
Okay.
Rollins-archive.com has like the earlier episodes are few far between, but like once you get to about 0506, it's pretty comprehensive from then on.
Yeah.
And I've downloaded almost everything off of it. The things you can do when you're bored at work.
I mean, you can get away with that. I can't.
Yeah, it's like, where's your computer and does it have internet access that's worth a damn?
I have company intranet, but we do have Wi-Fi now. So, I mean, plenty of music's been playing.
Yeah, I was like, you could do that there, do it here, or I'll just give you a flash drive of the everything. Like, it's mostly wonderful, a little bit weird, and when he says it's eclectic, he ain't kidding.
If I don't want to be bothered at work, though, if people keep, like, we have the headsets, which sucks because I'm like, when we first got those, the guy, they had the quintessential, like, the poster child, and you know this person, the very perky person who's always happy about everything. And we're both of you and I are happy. But we're not happy go lucky.
We're not Jack McBrayer happy.
No,
like the kid from was it 30 Rock and Talladega Nights?
Yeah,
that's beyond.
Yeah, that's excessive, and nobody's ever that happy about anything. This guy was like that. And he was like, and you don't even have to hold your mouth up to the microphone. It picks up from anywhere, so you just hook it to your shirt, and you can just press it and just say, hello, does anybody have any questions? And I went, so I have to see these people 40 hours a week, and now I have to hear them 40 hours a week? Great. And he's like, haha, you're funny. Does anybody have any real questions? I'm like, get the fuck. So if I don't want anybody to talk to me in person, I just play some really hardcore death metal in the department, and then usually people will walk in and they won't even say a word. They'll just walk right through. But did I tell you?
Death metal produce?
I mean, like, cryptopsy. Like, horrible fucking... Too soft. This shit's so hard that it would cut a diamond. But we were this one
laser metal.
You're not supposed to cut through if you don't work for the company. You're not supposed to cut through a fresh department. And there was this one douchey looking wine vendor who kept walking through, and I'm like, I'm gonna get him next time, DJ. That was when DJ still worked for me, and DJ and I were just talking. The guy walked through
this tournament, like, here's grapes. You're not doing your job.
And I saw the guy coming, and like DJ and I were talking about something that was completely unrelated. And I was like, I mean, I told the guy as soon as I saw him come through, and I was like, and DJ, I told the guy, if you ever want to kill him, I'll help you hide the body, man. And I looked back, and the guy looked at me like, and he didn't walk through the department anymore. How to get rid of people 101. You're out of beer, Steve.
Yep.
Quit drinking faster than me.
It's been a week.
Ugh, yeah, it has. Guess what?
Chicken butt.
Ooh, that's so stupid. Do you have some available for eats? I'm sure it tastes the same as the rest of the chicken.
I've never been to Super G Mart.
We're on vacation next week.
Oh shit! Yes, we are.
But I start after Monday.
The next best thing, I swap shifts for Sunday night for Friday night following return, so I don't need to scramble getting back. Probably also doesn't mean go get stuck on the Blue Ridge Parkway again, because driving through fog was terrifying, and Kalen still talks about that. Like, I'm so glad you were driving. Like, I'm still pulling fingernails out of that steering wheel, but hey, we survived.
Are you taking the serve?
More likely than not.
Gotcha.
Like, unless I finally take my car in for the airbag recall and they give me a loaner, but I doubt that's happening. But it starts, it runs, it goes, and we can both drive it.
I mean, I know you like going, and loaner. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this isn't the 2015 trip. Yeah, what's up? I'll be ninth wheel.
I mean, you know what? Any mountain trip is fun trip. But I think last year was about the most fun. Just, it was a lot more chill, and we'll leave it at that. It was one of the more, and the guys trips are always fun too for a different reason. We just got to get Thomas to remember to bring his fucking ID when we go to the casino.
Yep.
What you did is not anything what any of us would have done. I'd be like, sorry, you can wait. You're a good guy, though.
There here, folks. I'm better than everybody.
Else. Did I ever tell... I didn't tell you that story either, did I?
Pardon?
So, my father-in-law is a grammar Nazi, which is weird because he's Jewish, but
No, I'm just going to say everybody.
he wrote in... It was a commercial for the local news back in when he was in Maryland, and it was
gross.
We cover the news better than everyone, and he said, well, it should have been else, because if you say everyone, you're including yourself, so you're saying you do better news than yourself. So he wrote in,
you're better than myself.
He wrote into them back when that was the only way you could get in touch with people other than calling them, and explained this to them. Several weeks later, same commercial airs, but it says, we break more news than anyone else. He got him to change it. I'm like, that's brilliant. Like, go Ken, man.
Way more entertaining than my dad being upset by, Miller GD beer. Miller, goddamn. That's not good.
Depends on who you
wow,
ask. Bob. So my part-timer, Kristen's getting her first big tattoo tomorrow from my big tattoo artist, Mr. Troy Johnson.
A life-size tattoo of herself.
But taller.
Herself.
But taller.
Thanks, Steven. That's the right stuff.
We went down there. I took her down there the other day, and she went and go talk to him. So he's actually going in early to do it since she has to go to work early. He's helping her out by going in earlier than the shop opens. He's a good, fucking great guy. I love that guy. I'm going to get a piece done before we go to the mountains. And what am I telling you this story for?
That's a good idea. Have an open wound before you go drink a lot.
This is the third time that's happened. The third time.
So are you putting your Honda badge?
Here's the funny part too.
Left cheek or
After
right
after the first night when you ooze all of your plasma and blood out, tasty. After that, no, it doesn't bleed anymore. It's fine. I mean, you don't want to poke at it, but it'll be, unfortunately, right there. That's the last big piece I have. That's the last big place I have for something before he fills the rest of the arm in with background. I don't know if I showed you. It's from Soundgarden's 2012
it's a bunch
album.
Of vines. You're welcome, John.
It's from the Soundgarden logo from King Animal, their 2012.
Ooh.
Isn't that neat? It'll be right there, except it'll be pretty fucking big. So
I've not heard that one at all.
I will be an objective Soundgarden fan. It sounds just like what you would expect it to be if you go through the discography of how the sound progressed. So it sounds like an extension of Down on the Upside.
Weird. Awesome. Okay. Question mark.
Well, some of the early stuff was a bit hard to swallow, but then Louder Than Love and Bad Motorfinger, Super Unknown, yeah. So you should give it a listen. I can get you a copy. I know a guy.
With their powers combined, it's Superfinger.
The Dane Cook?
Nobody knows anymore.
Hey, what does he do now?
He made his millions making observational humor, hey, remember this? And just quit. I think he fell off the planet.
I'm not familiar that much with his earlier stuff, but the Vicious Circle was actually very funny. He was on what was it when he and Dave Attell, they did a I don't remember. There was a 4-way. It was kind of like the Kings of Comedy where they took 4 people out. It was Dane Cook, Dave Attell, and 2 other guys. I can't fucking remember. Dave Attell fucking killed because he always does.
They had a Dave Attell thing on DVD that was on Netflix for a while. I remember when we had people over at the old house watching that, we're all laughing our asses off.
Yeah.
But please hold for
Did you watch
checker upper?
Did you watch much Insomniac?
No.
Okay. I think I was still a little too. You know what? I've gone to bed early and gotten up early for almost all of my life. So staying up to watch something called Insomniac is a bit ironic. Yeah.
Don't you think?
It's like, oh, she redid that song with modern day problems, with modern day irony, and I haven't listened to it yet.
Does it contain actual irony instead of misfortune?
Probably not, because that's what it was. It was just shitty things that happened to people. It wasn't. What's your definition of irony? With a real world experience. Didn't know you were going to get lambasted with on the spot questions, did you?
Dude, I'd rather talk about a band I don't know anything about.
We do that a lot too.
Yeah.
Steve, we're out of booze. What do you want next? Dunkin' beer? Dunkin' beer.
Sure.
Because we got the milk stout to go too, which we keep.
Might as well go with that one instead.
We'll finish with the Dunkin'.
Okay. What the fuck?
I sent you the picture.
I don't remember that.
I sent you a picture of it, yeah. Do you still want to?
Yes, that their good drink is.
While Steve's looking that up, we're about to crack open a Harpoon Dunkin' Coffee Porter. You heard that right, guys. Dunkin' Donuts. Well, they're not donuts anymore. It's just Dunkin'. Harpoon Dunkin' Coffee Porter.
Dunkin' Donuts. What you talking about?
By the way,
it's Boston chicken and Dunkin' Donuts.
By the way, I've already had it, and it's fucking delicious. I was going to try to wait when I bought it, but Steve was like, "Oh, I can't go today." I'm like, "Fuck." All right, I'm drinking this anyway.
Stupid work. It's good thing there's 6 of them.
I have 5 now, and after this 3, but we know where there's more.
Massachusetts?
Is it Harpoon, Massachusetts?
No, but actually, this does say Boston, Matt, and Windsor, Vermont.
I guess congratulations, Red Sox. You can all go fuck yourselves.
The
smell.
socks I'm wearing
you smell?
are... No.
Smell.
You know, I always did like that turbo heroin coffee they have.
That is so good.
Can I take one of these to go?
Yes.
I know somebody's going to really enjoy this.
Absolutely.
That's their favorite coffee.
Well, you know what? I'll go to Total Wine again.
That could probably wind up going in the chili. By the way, that will be a thing.
Good. Thank you.
We're shopping tomorrow for that.
Gotcha.
There are a few other quabbles will be hammered out off air.
Well, I know three out of the 8 didn't eat any, but we still all enjoyed it very, very much. So when is... Oh, it was... She's going to make it and freeze it and then thaw it out? Or is she going to make it there?
We ain't got time for that there. Get ingredients tomorrow, make it Sunday.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll...
for all I know, like this will probably go in the chili.
I'm going to make barbecue, but I'll probably do like an all-day... I'll probably bring the crock pot. But Steve, we're drinking Harpoon Dunkin' Coffee Porter. It is 6%. It's 28 IBUs, 12 ounces. You can get it at Total Wine. I like how it... the flavor that's funny as hell that they've checked all of the flavor profiles off on the on here. So it's classic porter with Dunkin' coffee. Color dark brown black. Aroma espresso and dark chocolate. Taste roasty, malty, smooth. This is one of my new favorites, and you should make it a part of your life. It's pretty fucking good. Harpoon. What other beers did they have that you've liked, that you remember off the top of your face?
If I recall correctly, they were the ones that had a Hefeweizen called UFO. So whenever they have it at the Flying Saucer, they are big fans of that because name.
So if you drive your Disco Volante to Saucer and drink
while
Harpoon...
listening to obscure Mike Patton band... Meanwhile, the only worthwhile Mr. Bungle album is California.
I will
Never mind, you're not a fan of him anyway, but Disco Volante is unlistenable. or you're watching the movie Thunderball or its remake, Never Say Never Again.
I don't
actually think it was the later one with like Connery reprising the role for Warner Brothers instead of Eon Productions.
Yes.
Where he calls the ship the Disco Volante, which is flying saucer in Italian.
That's so cool. That is cool as fuck. And an anagram for harpoon is Ranhoop. There's a
spin it however you like. I'm still not good at basketball.
Beato did a What Makes This Song Great from Periphery, and I didn't realize Periphery was that good, but
who?
Progressive metal band.
Hey, go on.
Really, really good. The song was Absalom, which, have you heard that word before?
No.
All right, Absalom is a word, and the top-rated comment was, the anagram for Absalom is boob slam. Top-rated. All you need is a little patience.
Worst karaoke song ever.
Holy
shit! It's like, oh, good. It's 7 minutes of an awful lot of like whistling and silence.
I think next time I'm at a place that has karaoke and nobody's signing up, I'm gonna do that back to back with "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Ugh.
I just get all the whistling out of my system. Well, Steve and I were going to go through the discography of Pearl Jam, but neither of us looked anything up. Let's do it anyway. Steve and I...
With notes!
Steve and I are of the same... We are cut from the same Pearl Jam cloth, where we really only listen to songs from 10 and Vitalogy.
That cloth is plaid.
It's very plaid.
You said verse is awful funny.
Versus was after Vitalogy, right?
No.
Before?
I think it was...
91 was 10. 10 came out in 91, and Vitalogy came out in 94.
Then I think Versus was in between them.
No way. What was off of Versus? Was Dissident on 10? About to look it up, ain't you?
Yeah, this requires Cliff's notes, because you had an idea, and then this week went to shit, so I couldn't do anything productive to the thing you said we'd be doing.
Hey, man. I don't even... we were supposed to play 3-Car Garage or birth year, but we can wait till...
That's going to be easier.
We can do that in a little bit. We still have time. I don't have to work till 6:30.
Are you getting anything got illicitly busted for coke? No? Super.
No Pepsi.
So that's why it was so popular in Back to the Future.
I don't know if I have Kaylin's number or not. Let me check, because I was going to take a picture of the bottle and send this to her and go, you have a goodie coming home.
It's 7:04. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Bleep, 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 bleep.
I believe you. I don't have Kaylin's number. You'll just have to give it to me later. Give it to me later.
My fiance's number. What's going on here?
Used to live with my wife.
I saw her first.
Maybe she'll make her first on-air appearance by coming up here and saying she probably will not do that.
What, M?
Yeah.
That's funny. Kayla's been our only guest in the podcast.
I know. She didn't say anything. Like, she just sat in the corner.
It's like having to stifle laughter during which.
It's true. Very true. We're going to have guests when I get a new interface, and I've said that before, but you know what? I'm not really in a hurry to spend $500 on a new interface and then more microphones, because I'm going to buy 2 new microphones, too, to keep here.
What does get you a sound card for $20? It's got a bunch of ports in it.
Nah, I'm going to do it right. Well, I need the microphones anyway, because I would like to keep these for live shows and have the other ones.
I can give you 2 turntables as well.
I have 1 turntable and 2 microphones. 3 microphones. I have a condenser mic in there. These are dynamic microphones. You know what that one looks like, right? It looks like that.
Yeah, the old school thing. It turns milk into powder.
Something like that. The dynamic microphones are usually better for recording instruments and for live sound. And then these pick up everything. That's why that and they're expensive. And they require phantom power, which is that little button right there. They require phantom power because they are powered. They pick up everything, and they pick up all the really super high highs and the really super low lows. So a truck going by the road, it would pick that up. So I don't really use that for in here. But dynamic dynamics are completely fine for what we're doing here on the small scale. I want some more candy. Actually, I need food, but let's see some Whoppers. Let's see some Maltesers.
It's like, I had never heard of these until the other day when I picked this up. It's like, well,
check it out.
Whoppers by a different name.
Fun size. I'll eat that one. Grab your balls. These are really fucking good. That crunched right in my ear. The Good Mythical Morning guys did a NCAA tournament style bracket of the worst Halloween candy.
Did candy corn win?
It didn't, but candy corn didn't even make it to the final four. Believe that or not. I want you to guess.
A, I don't, and 2, fuck them.
No, it didn't. Do you want to guess what number 1 worst candy ever made?
Licorice.
Licorice was what this candy lost. Licorice lost to this candy. There was a candy that was voted worse than licorice.
The creepy wax paper toffee thing.
What? There's an odd fucking number of these. Here, you have the rest of them.
Put some more balls in my mouth.
Yeah.
And no.
The final 4 was black licorice, Good and Plenty. You've seen those, right?
Good and Plenty, Boomin' Granny.
Do you know what's in Good and Plenty? And I didn't know this either. I've never had them.
Wax and shit.
Basically, it's candy-covered black licorice. I had no idea that was what Good and Plenty was. So it's just candy.
So it's neither.
The number 1 worst candy, according to the Good Mythical Morning guys, was Necco wafers. Have you ever had them?
What are the communal wafers at church?
No, those are Jeez-Its. Necco wafers are like those. They look like the packet of Rolaids. They're like that big, and they're chalky, and they're not sweet, and they're from like the 1800s. And I don't think they've made any new ones since then. I think they just keep recycling the same Necco wafers.
You're totally recycling the Lewis Black joke about candy corn.
Yeah, it's been a while. Okay, I didn't mean to joke steal, guys. I'm considering doing stand up next year sometime.
You got the year wrong. He said 1912.
That was a great overture. 100 years later.
They wash them.
Or the fruitcake. Fruitcake was the same thing, right? Somebody's made the same joke about fruitcake too.
Yep.
Never had fruitcake. Don't plan on it.
Gaffigan was that one.
Gotcha.
Fruit, good. Cake, awesome. Fruitcake, awful crap.
I wasn't a big fan of the dead pocket bit. The hot pocket bit didn't really get me. It didn't get me that much. It was chuckle worthy, but not
because you eat all of them and they haven't killed you yet. That's why
I ate the lean pockets.
They have the well, there you have it. That wasn't a lean pockets joke. It was a hot pockets joke.
And I don't think lean pockets were a thing.
Pockets.
I don't think lean pockets were really big when he did the hot pockets.
It's been around, I'd say forever, but no.
The early aughts, maybe.
Yeah, it was like So they had the breakfast hot pockets. You have
those were good.
A hot pocket for breakfast, a hot pocket for lunch. You'll be dead by dinner.
I used to dip mine in pancake syrup, and let me tell you, it was pretty life-changing. Breakfast, bacon, cheese, and eggs in a bread pastry dipped in.
I kept dunking my pretzel jalapeno chicken in syrup, and it was weird.
Chicken and waffles is whoever in our soul food communities that thought of that was kudos to you.
Thanks, Deej.
Indirectly.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dunkin' Coffee Porter's hitting the spot, man.
Yep. Like, oh, shit. I still haven't killed this yet.
Not yet. But you can't. That was much more satisfying. Oh, and Harpoon was established in pretty much the best year ever.
Why? Ferris Bueller?
It was certainly my day out.
Don't whack off on Mike.
It was my day out of the womb. or as Theo Vaughn had said about the prostitute, I respect all women. She's out there in early morning hours slinging that canal.
Panama! Panama!
That's going on the list.
It's like anal with a C.
This chick was like the Pele of ale. I miss early Archer. H. John Benjamin's doing Arby's commercials now.
Yep.
They have the meats.
I've actually not been to an Arby's since the previous mountain trip. We stopped by the Arby's that was off the exit for Sierra Nevada and the airport.
Right.
And I don't remember what we got, but it was a generous portion of food for a handsome ransom. But they're playing nothing but classic rock at that one.
My very
Mad props to the Mills River Arby's.
My cheap father would get an Arby's sandwich combo, and he would get the whatever the middle size is, take it home, take half of the meat off, put it on a piece of loaf bread, put the sandwich in the refrigerator, and have a sandwich for later. So he got a second sandwich out of it.
It's a different way to do it.
I mean, there's plenty of meat on that sandwich.
No, what you do is get a bunch of the cheap sandwiches, take the meat of all the sandwiches, and make a monster sandwich with the meat from all those.
Is this epic mealtime?
Be still my heart.
Because
after this, yes.
Yes.
And Kalen had never had potato cakes before that.
Latkes?
Whatever they got at Arby's.
Oh.
They're hash browns that are available all the time. So you have fries, curly fries, and potato cakes. Everybody goes nuts about the curly fries. Mm-hmm. I've always taken the third route because I love hash browns, and that's effectively what these are. Oh, and they're like triangular cut hash brown cakes, and they're awesome.
I've got an idea.
Then you get roast beef sandwich and put potato cake on sandwich.
Permission to blow your mind.
And I had to ask.
How about
what kind of Kleenex do you need for that anyway?
How about just using the potato cakes as the bread of a roast beef sandwich?
I gotta say, I may be a little disappointed I didn't think of this beforehand. Fuck you, bread. But
it's the yeast of our problems.
But can I put sesame seeds on the top one?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, I gotta keep something authentic here, man.
Hey, man.
Stupid word.
Hey, fuck Bobby. This is Steve's world. Don't you know Bobby Jenerick?
How will you do that? How's that beer feel coming out your nose?
Better going out than coming in it.
Rower.
Well, we've had some.
That's
really good
gonna
beers
be
today.
some awesome degenerate behavior. Yeah, I'm snorting coffee to stay awake now.
We drink so much coffee, we have to do a line of Coke to come down from it, which is kind of halfway an exaggeration. We're coffee guys.
My schedule's so horrible that I've got to stay super caffeinated to stay awake. And then, when I don't need to, randomly my heart's going to be racing. Oh, good. Now I have to add an extra drug to repertoire. Oh, hey, baby aspirin. What's going on?
Does that mean the aspirin itself is tiny?
It's not a big pill as well.
So
it's 81 milligrams.
How did they settle on that number?
Let's
Let's have a number that's divisible by both 9 and 3.
So 3.
Pretty much. Every number is divisible. It's just not divisible in a way you would see convenient. Like everywhere is within walking distance if you have the time from Stephen Wright. who still tours and we need to go see. I'm so ready for the mountain trip. I don't think we're going to get a podcast in up there. We're just going to have to take that week off.
Sure. Well, it's already an off week, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's an off week. I mean, it would be fun to do, but I think
that, like, my beloved laptop is a finicky piece of shit, so...
Yeah, and I'm not bringing all of this.
No.
Nope.
Don't.
Nope. It's supposed to be a vacation. We'll have plenty of stories to tell.
Or maybe we could bring the laptop in case we need Netflix device, but like I did 2 years ago.
True.
Same laptop. I don't have
same Netflix.
other Sean's password anymore, but...
We know more Sean's.
It's like, I know more people with Netflix passwords.
Me.
What?
I have Netflix now. Actually, we've been in this house for over 3 years now, which is...
Dude, that's... Yeah, like you've been here roughly the same time I've been at my other place.
Yep. And now you're in basically the happiest place you've ever been, right?
Yes. Thanks, Punk.
She's very photogenic.
Pretty cat.
Very pretty. But she does a great mean mug. Zara does an uninterested mug. Coco does a good, friendly mug. And Cairo does a derp.
Yeah.
Cairo's a good derp kitty. I forgot what I was going to say. It was cat related. Oh, yeah. Russian blues are hypoallergenic, guys. So if you're allergic to cats and you love cats, get a Russian blue. They're hypoallergenic.
No, Ferris New Cat's a tripod Russian blue.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. I would like to.
You haven't heard about anything about this? His previous cat died, so he got a new one.
Aw.
And it's a three-legged cat. That's Russian blue.
Is he going to create a really badass grunge album? It's got to come full circle, man. I'm going to be sad when the Dunkin' coffee porter's gone. I'm going to go buy the rest of it at Total Wine, probably when I'm a little more sober.
Which location?
Providence is
Cool,
where they had it.
Because we're going to raid the one at Concord Mills tomorrow.
Okay, cool, because I'm totally okay with having that for breakfast and every other meal. We're going to make the wings, the banana, the platano de... God damn it. What was it? Platana de la Muerte, the banana of death wings, when we go to the cabin. Emily's not going to eat them, but everybody else will. So
Das Banana Toten.
Yes. Is that the German?
Toten von Bananen.
The Vermin Jersion?
Ja. Gute Time, meine Schlampen, wie geht's?
I'm going to have to learn more German to hang out with you.
Würdest du mehr Kaffee trinken? Ja. Yeah, it's...
Well, the 6 points. I need to find 6 points.
The running gag is always, a lot of people took, mostly Spanish in high school and remember none of it. German kind of stuck. It was a lot of fun learning it. It's kind of useless in today's age that, it's like, Spanish would have been way more practical.
I mean...
I had a blast with it.
Well, most... I think if you go to Germany, like they take English as a second language. Like,
yeah, they will speak English better than we can.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And anybody under 50 can speak English just fine. They will struggle with THs. It becomes an S.
And
the
Vs.
W's and V's get swapped.
So if you drive a Volkswagen.
That was more of a Volkswagen. That the
Miami
V
Vice
becomes an F and the W becomes a V.
And same way Japan struggles with
L's and R's.
L's and R's. Stallion.
They got the L's and R's so backwards they built the cars wrong. Lefts and rights, nothing.
I was halfway reading.
Don't.
Kristen sends me a message. Some lady made me spend 30 minutes helping her pick produce for her pet guinea pig. She was like, I don't know how to use a computer, so I can't look anything up. And the funny part about this is, I know exactly which customer she's talking about. Because every time I see her coming, I go to the back.
I've got quite the Bourdain archive. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in the South American episodes... He ate guinea pig. A, I'm looking this up. 2, I'm watching this fucking episode. I don't know. What does a guinea pig grilled go with? Because I got a feeling if you don't have 6 of them, what I like to say about salads,
It tastes like you're going to be hungry.
you betcha.
All right, I haven't had guinea pig. I've had a rabbit, and you hate the cliche, but it tastes like chicken. Duck does not taste like. Duck is like a greasy. It's good. It's great.
Greasier chickener.
It's a greasy chicken. So it's like if you took. All right, so
A waterproof chicken.
a waterproof chicken. I just figured out a great way to describe duck. All right, do you know how on a chicken, dark meat is different than the white meat? Duck is like if
Dark power.
Duck is like if the dark meat of the chicken was white meat, and then the dark meat was the duck. That's what that tastes like. Pretty accurate, I'd say.
Yeah.
I really want some duck right now. Crispy duck. Or what was the curried goat you get from the
Jamaican place.
yeah, so
Hell,
good.
Yes.
Does it make you horny?
Depends on what I'm drinking.
Gotcha. That was a Caribbean hut right near Saucer.
Yep.
There's another Caribbean joint, and I don't remember what the name of it is. And I think it's in...
And Tony's Caribbean Cafe can also do the same thing.
That's it.
You got the one on I Lit Up Duck Creek. No, it's Harris. Close enough.
I mean,
And
it's
there's one
and the same.
off of 7th across where Jack Jack's used to be.
Jack Jack's?
Jackalope Jack's.
Oh, I've been there
They moved into Plaza Midwood.
twice.
I haven't been to a new location, and Peculiar Rabbit was peculiar.
Yeah. Have you been to Snug Harbor?
Yeah.
How is it? A buddy of mine dances there a lot. DJ dances there a lot. They have a lot, some dance competitions
there's
there.
always okay, like that makes more sense. Like, it's like slow dances. What?
No,
Because every time I've been there,
8th grade
that
dances.
is not
The Frankenstein.
the great number 8.
Bless you. Steve's dying. Don't mind him.
Yeah. Steve don't dance.
Yeah, Daddy don't rock and roll.
Yeah. Dad used to classic rock. Now he does NPRs and classicals. Yeah, like cheap admission, cheap beers, like pirate themed tiny bar. It's always fun.
Pirate themed?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
it's like lots of like pirate flags in the rafters. That's actually where I broke my first good like little Samsung tablet. Was trying to take a picture of something and dropping it.
That was the one you had before this.
This was many things before. This was before I had a smartphone. This was that long ago.
Oh my goodness! Was this
Yeah.
like when we first met,
no,
Steve?
not that far long ago. But like prior to me having a smartphone, I had a couple of these Android-powered tablets that were phone-sized. But once smartphones got more easily accessible, and I finally got one, didn't need that kind of device anymore. So then I could advance to like more normal size. Like this, what I have here is a 8-inch Asus ZenPad is awesome.
Yeah.
But back in the day, had a 5-inch Samsung Galaxy player. I think that was what they called it. Basically, so it looked like a phone that was not a phone because it was effectively a phone without the phone capability or 4G capability.
So it's bigger than the phone, but smaller than the tablet, or about
Yes,
the same size as the phone.
If I were to have this next to my Note 4, it would be about 90% the size and 80% the capability.
Oh, gotcha. They this is why I like Sprint so much. They didn't try to upsell me when I got the Galaxy S8. They were like, "Hey, do you play a lot of games?" I'm like, "No." "Do you download a lot of things?" "No." "Do you have a lot of apps?" "No." Get the 8. The 8's for what you're going to be paying. It's $10 less a month.
Sell you on an S3.
Well, I mean, I do want it to, be semi-modern, and I do love the curved screen.
I do not care for that at all.
I didn't, but it looks very the same from each angle.
Fuck your looks. I'm concerned about busting it in the middle of that screen.
I am
like this old school rectangular phone, boxy thing. I hope that picked up.
It did.
Cool. I bet you phone is fine after I'm sending it. Throwing it like that.
You know what?
Do not.
I know this one would be fine, but I'm not going to do it. That was a good one.
I'm really worried about the edges on that. Thomas complains about his phone. Like, I broke this thing 6 times. Well, it's you.
My last phone.
Sorry, T, but you need a Nokia. And apparently there's a new Nokia Android phone in the works. Like, that's absolutely under consideration for next phone. Because how do you make an indestructible Android? If they're building it? Yeah, betcha.
Well, the age-old question of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an indestructible object is a Nokia. That's the answer to that question. Because I'm pretty sure you had a Nokia.
Yeah, I had.
And I did too.
2 of them.
I did too. The tall one with the antenna and the blue one. The little blue one, like that big.
I didn't have the tiny one. I had like the larger one with the antenna.
Yep.
But it had like the blue, like faceplate on it.
What was your?
It was free thingamahoo's. It Altel phone back in 2001.
I remember what ringtone I had for my first Nokia with the antenna. It was Mosquito. Do you remember?
Pitched weird thing.
And it was loud and obnoxious as fuck. I was trying to explain to my part-timer, Kristen, that when I was in middle school, it was cool that you had a pager. I carried my dad's pager one day because he didn't have to go to work and didn't tell anybody. So I just brought the pager. It was like a holiday. So I brought everybody thought I was the coolest fucking guy because I had a pager.
Because they could buy drugs off you then.
Yeah, if I had any. Baby aspirin. But she was like, "Really?" I was like, "No, yeah, it's just cool as fuck, man." It was cool to like. I miss those days when I watch like videos from the 90s. Because periodically, Toby's the same way. We'll go back and listen to some songs we've played. I don't even listen to anymore. We play so much that I just don't listen to them. But I'll watch the videos. And I'll see how life used to be. I'm like, you know what? I kind of miss that. Everything's at your hands now with phone, and I don't even necessarily know if that's a good thing or bad thing at this point. Like now, everybody has a voice, and I'm not sure everybody should have a voice.
Should be stifled.
Maybe Stalin had some good ideas. Get down with the sickle and hammer. Are you almost out?
You bet you're right. Yeah, go. Yeah, keep doing that. You're not getting a fizz out of it.
We're gonna have to get a bigger table because we keep running out. We're fast running out of room for this.
Yeah, well, that's been a running gag the whole time, and the Rowdy Aldi keeps selling the same table.
We're gonna be like the microphone stand will be half hanging off of the table, and we'll be like kind of leaning to one side.
Yeah, one false move, like this, all getting karate chopped off.
You know what? That's probably not the best.
I told you I do not want to make this a video podcast.
We're glad you didn't see that.
This instead of a that. So you get a this.
We have brought this next beer up here every episode for the last 3 episodes, and we've never drank it.
Stop shaking it!
That didn't
been
taste very
so
good.
troubled this whole time.
You've poured the last ones. I'm going to pour this one. And I'll let you be the... Wow, that... I don't know why I decided that pouring the can was the better idea, but it's not easy to pour. Ooh, it's dark.
The table's only wearing a little bit of it. You're doing fine.
Yay, I did it. Stop saying you did a thing. I fucking hate that. You didn't do a thing. You didn't have sex with a Volkswagen. I did a thing today. Joe, buck yourself. Fuck you. Oh, chub. Steve, explain to the lovely listeners, or handsome listeners, depending on what sex they are, predominantly male, what we're drinking.
North High Brewing Company, Milk Stout, 5.3 ABV. Please be kind to our planet. Fuck you, Windows. Roasted malts. Add bold notes of cocoa and coffee to this delightfully dark ale.
Cocoa face.
Flip Zara. While delicate sweetness of milk sugar creates a smooth, velvety finish.
Steve, this is delicious. That's... Damn, is it better than the Dunkin'? It's sweeter than the Dunkin'.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's better, but it's...
Different.
It tastes like a latte or something that you'd get like from a coffee shop that's super duper sweet.
I've got a Tootsie Roll in my mouth too, so...
That was better. That was very vigorous, but...
It ain't vigorous until the zapper gets soaked in beer.
That can't happen. This is a mint condition zapper. And mint condition power glove. Which Thomas tried on the other day. He's like, I've never even put one of these on before. I'm like, it feels remarkably like a glove with no fingers and an open palm on it. I'm gonna bring this.
Well, you got it. It's an $80 prop.
Did you?
It's like it's a terrible thing that's very expensive, is what this is.
Is this compatible with the Raspberry Pi?
No,
it doesn't have that outlet.
Yeah, no. Everything going into a Raspberry Pi is either Bluetooth or USB.
We can convert it. My wiring, my soldering has gotten mediocre because it used to be horrible.
Still better than mine.
I have a soldering iron downstairs. I didn't do so good with it. So I did the air pump delete on the S2000, which required snipping wires into the ECU and splicing in new wires to make the ECU think it still has the air pump. And my soldering skills were Michael J. Foxy, so I just did the old twist and the old school method, and well, I haven't thrown a CEL, check engine light. So that's been probably close to 2 years ago, and no check engine light
all the time.
I can fix that. Bring it over.
Don't call it a happy face because we're not serial killers.
You're not.
I'm only a parallel killer. It's different.
I've eaten the shit out of some golden grams in the past. Oh boy. Well, we can remedy that check engine light of yours. Just bring it over to this busted knuckle garage. Repair and despair under one roof.
Yay.
Since I don't remember how long it's been since I've been working on cars, but it's been a long time. Well, Steve, I'm hungry. I gotta have something to eat tonight for dinner. You had leftovers. Plenty. I don't have any of that stuff.
You don't have pizzas at the wazoo?
No. Well, we have frozen pizzas.
Wing it instead. Yeah, well, they were frozen. Now they're refrigerated.
Now we've reached the point where we're leaving for the mountains on Thursday, so I don't really want to buy a lot of food coming up. So we're kind of getting to the point where you're eating like mayonnaise and cat food for a couple of days until you leave. I think Toby's feeding the cats actually for our trip. We're gonna have a lot of tales from our trips of probably going to hit up Innovation again. It's always a cool joint. We're going to hit up Nantahala. That's a given.
Huh?
Thomas said something about hitting up another one, but he said it's like 45 minutes away. But I was like, well, who cares? I forgot the name of the place. I could text him, but then he's going to call me, and then I don't want to do that again for like 5 episodes straight. I forgot what he said, but the place in Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, what's the name of that brewery? Anyway, there's a brewery in Lake Lure, Chimney Rock area, and got to be honest, the beer's not great.
Dirty Dancing Brewing Company.
If you go, you'll have the time of your life.
I have always loved that song.
It's a great song. Lose control. The beer is not great, but the ambiance is great because you can go out to their patio area and just kind of look at the mountains and look at the river just flowing by. Very, very beautiful. I cannot remember the name of that place to save my life. It's named after one of the Chimney Rock exhibits. You can see like the. Have you been to Chimney Rock?
I don't believe so.
What? All right. Okay, we're going to Chimney Rock soon. When are you guys coming up for the mountain trip? Are you coming up on Thursday morning or evening?
We're going to take off about noon on Thursday.
Oh, this will be, I think, the first mountain trip you've came to where you have arrived before sunset.
I think it's the daylight savings time. The verdict's out. At least.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was like,
but no, you won't be driving up to the cabin when it's pitch fucking dark outside. That's good.
So we hope.
That's good news because I think
we'll see what I-26 has to offer.
True. Do you guys take 74 or do you take 85 all the way to 26 in Spartanburg?
No, there's no sense adding extra miles of the trip.
It depends on how fast you go, though. You can make up time like that. Because Shelby and Forest City is 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, what's posted? Have you seen me drive through them? No, you haven't.
Because I've made it back from Pigeon Forge to Oakboro in 3 hours and 40 minutes. That's
back in the day, Mike and Claudia's bike shop, my aunt and uncle in Nashville, before they were roughly at Highway 25 and the Blue Ridge Parkway, they used to be in South Asheville, a little closer, off of Long Shoals Road. You might recognize that off of 26 as an exit.
That's the old place, right? Not the place we slept over at.
Yeah, the bike shop. Same house. They've had that since the 70s.
Oh.
No, the previous bike shop, which now is no longer the Octopus's Garden head shop, but they used to be off at that exit, like the closer side of Asheville. Back in the day, made that from University City in an hour 50.
Nice.
The wonders of driving an 89 GTI the way it's intended.
Pretty much. Held up.
Which is all well and good unless the tires are bald or if I hit anything. Luckily, I didn't, so I had to go kill somebody else.
Well,
Chris.
At least when you hit something, you have an engine in front of you. Somebody T-boning you, that's a bit messier.
I'm betting that's probably the lightest car I ever had at probably 2,300 pounds.
Yep.
I think 97 Truckosaurus was 28, as is the Poniota. And now, after 2 years, its tires are quite bald. And I'm contemplating downsizing wheels because I'm really tired of these just hitting every bump in the road. And after I had a blowout a couple weeks ago, I'm really worried about every last thunking noise they're making. I understand old car, whatever have you, but it's nerve-wracking on shitty roads, and Charlotte's got plenty of them.
Yep. That it is very funny that the price difference of wheels and of tires
It is the portion method.
My
The
15s.
less tire you get, the more you're paying.
Yeah. The 15, I've run 235, 75, 15s on the Jeep.
Sold a lot of those when we were working at this Scams Club tire department back in the day.
Yep. And that's what's kind of keeping me, because I think 10, 12 episodes ago, I was contemplating a Scooby Forester or Outback XT.
Let's face it, you still are.
It would get strong consideration. Let's not get carried away. But as far as operational costs, you'd be hard pressed to beat what I got now. Because when I needed a new radiator, all right, so I guess it was 2 or 3 years ago. I have to work Thanksgiving Day every year because I make the schedule. My guys work really hard for me. I give them Thanksgiving Day off. I work Thanksgiving Day because we always have an order going out for the next day. That always means I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. That's a small price to pay. I digress. Thanksgiving was in Raleigh. I was on my way to Raleigh, stopped in Asheboro at a Mexican restaurant, which was fan-fucking-tastic. Who knew that authentic Mexican cuisine could be had in Zootown, North Carolina? So I stop, I eat.
Sure is turkey.
Plus or minus.
Tastes like zebra, whatever.
I eat my food, I come out, I see a puddle underneath the Jeep that wasn't there when I left. And I dip the old finger in, smell, it's coolant. Pop the hood. Oh, your radiator that at that time I think had less than 300,000 miles on it, original radiator. The top was made of plastic. The inlet tube was made of plastic, and it had completely disintegrated almost. So I'm like, I am halfway between my home and my wife's parents' home. What do? You call Advanced Auto Parts nearest to your house. Hey, I need a radiator for a 97 Jeep Cherokee. Oh, we have 3 different kinds. Do you want this one, this one, this one, or this one? You know what? Okay, just put that one on hold. I'm on my way.
A good one.
I clamp it on. So what can only be described, and this is off mic. There was this much clamping area left on the radiator. So I carefully, to not over tighten my upper radiator hose, clamp it back on the radiator, and get some water from the nice folks at the Mexican restaurant. Distilled water. They had distilled water in the back. It's
cleaning stuff and things. Sure.
Call the old wife and say, I'm not going to make it to Black Friday festivities in Raleighwood. Got to go change the radiator. Drive it all the way home. Monitor the temperature gauge. Never goes more than halfway. And on a Jeep Cherokee XJ, or any 4-liter engine ever made, the best operating temperature is 205 degrees. Dead middle of the temperature gauge. Never even moves. Change the radiator at home. Make such a good time doing it. Change my headlights out and put the AutoPal headlights in and a new wiring harness, which makes the headlights, bright enough to actually see.
Huh?
Exactly.
I don't have that now.
We can work something out, actually.
I think to decataract it would help.
I like having cheap parts. The starter was $60. The radiator was $90. And parts are cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap and infrequent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got its quirks, but in 5 years, it's really done quite well.
Yeah. And I can't wait till I get the interior. Oh, what I'm going to... I forgot. God, this was like an hour ago. Interior-wise, I'm dying at black. But
tell us what you're not doing to it.
I'm ripping all the carpet out. All that gray carpet. And I'm going to rhino line the bottom. It'll be good for keeping things out. It's going to stink for a little bit, but I digress. But I'm going to get the rubber, was it WeatherTech? I'm going to get the WeatherTech floor. So we'll have the rubber floor mats for the front, the rear, and then the entire back where the hatch area is.
I hope rhino lining does anything for noise.
What I was thinking about doing is putting Dynamat down and then rhino lining over the top of it. I mean,
yeah,
be great.
That could work.
Absolutely. So I'm going to do
like,
that.
Trouble lives like, life without carpet at the bottom and a headliner at the top.
Has a headliner, remember?
Yeah, I know that, but
yeah,
for a while you didn't. But to have bare metal surface in car is invitation for nothing but heat and noise.
Yep. If you're going to use it as like wheeling, all you do is tow it to different wheeling places, go nuts, rip it out. Don't take the headliner out of your car. Makes it really fucking hot on the inside. Trust me.
Yeah, it's this metal pan over your head.
I think it'd be really neat to put dynamite everywhere down and then just rhino line over the top and then put the rubber floor mats because...
You know what happened? It used to be a 3,000-pound car, now it's a 4,000-pound car because of all the insulation. Man, you can't hear anything, you can't feel anything. It's incredible. It's a rolling sensory deprivation tank.
To keep with the theme, have you watched DeMuro's review of Jeep Cherokee?
The old school one?
Mine.
No, I know that was a thing.
He
was like an 01 that he had?
01 last year.
Okay.
So he had a bone stock 01, and he says, I'm really surprised at road noise, at how quiet it is. He says, what I'm really surprised, what I can hear is engine noise. And I was like, yep, it sounds like a school bus. But, well, it did. Now I have an exhaust on it, so it sounds like a school bus with an aftermarket exhaust on it.
Sounds like you're rolling an E36 now.
Well, you know what? No, it's a better sounding than that, man. Come on, let's give it a little bit more credit, man. I think it sounds better than that.
I like the I like the earlier BMWs. The turbo BMWs, forget it because they may be envy the deaf.
I think any car, I automatically hate any car that pipes in fake sound into the cabin. I hate it, and I wish they would all catch on fire. And that's just me. You shouldn't have to pipe in fake engine noise into your car speakers to make it sound better. You just shouldn't. That's a horrible idea. That is some dickless tie-wearing guy who has no experience in cars who just happened to get into automotive marketing thinking that's a good idea. It's not. It's not a good idea. Steve, you and I should create our own car company.
Yes, using those millions of dollars we won from the lottery.
Oh, wait. The lottery's a tax on people who are bad at math.
Hey, I still spent $30 buying into my friend's joint lottery tickets just to see what happens.
Yes.
They turned $1,200 into 4, into 90, back into 4.
Oh.
It didn't go well.
We're going to take our chances next week in the casino. But I'll be honest.
I think in my half dozen trips there, I think altogether I've broken even, if not gained a little bit.
That's all right. Well, to you and me, we have. I don't think we have addictive personalities. We love our craft beer, but we don't go to.
The thing is, like I'll drink till I don't feel like drinking anymore. I feel sick. I just don't want to. I gotta go. It was like either leave or facilitate. Yeah. That's manageable enough that, it's a cheap addiction. Not even addiction, just cheap thing to do.
Yeah.
Much like last year, playing roulette. Hey, it turned $30 into 90. I'm out of my White Russian. Well, apparently I need to leave. Rest of you guys, have fun. Preston was pressing on with bigger stakes to turn 200 into 0 back into 200 over a much longer time.
Every time we go to Harrah's, I go upstairs to the poker room, And there's always a
they're
5-hour
booked-
wait.
They're booked till February.
Yeah. I'm going to do this again, but Preston wants to go earlier because that's one thing he said. He's like, we've gone Saturday, and and I agree with him. He didn't go the 2 years ago, I don't think. But when we went to there, it was 6:37, and by then, like, the tables have backed up. So he had expressed interest in eating dinner early at the cabin, like, you know, cooking out, and then like right at 5:00 leaving for the casino on Friday, which is great because even if we get home super fucking late, we can just sleep in a little bit Saturday. And we do the brew crawl like, you know, we usually do Friday. Saturday, the brewery's open a little earlier, so we don't have to sit around so much. So I'm digging this idea. So that's why we decided Monday. It's kind of a semi-group decision. I don't think anybody's going to not be on board with it, but very least, if I don't get at a poker table, I'm going to sit and learn craps because Preston seems to be pretty good at that. You'd think I'd be pretty good at blackjack since my name is AJ, but...
Check with Colin. That's his go-to game.
Oh, Colin's craps guy?
Yeah.
I thought about doing blackjack, but I don't really know as much of the strategy. Like
I'd
the
say
double
luck of the
downs.
draw, but...
Like, I know how to play blackjack. I don't want to play something for money that I don't know basic strategies of that much, and I like to win. I'm pretty competitive, so which is why I'm glad Emily has self-control, because she sat down at the slot machine, put $40 in, turned it into $100, and said, "I'm done. I'm not playing anymore." Good for you, honey.
Nice. Yeah. Most of the time I've been there is just have $100. Do with that what you will. Win, lose, draw. Cool. Don't spend your earnings. And once that initial 100 is out, it's time.
Yep.
Have another beer. Call it a day.
You can have less fun for $100.
Yeah.
So, I'm a big Texas Hold'em guy. I really want
to be Baccarat. Fuck you, Casino Royale. What?
Thanks, Bert. He's my second favorite, Bert. Oh boy, I'm ready to go though. I just need a vacation, like a father mucker.
Groovy.
Yes. Ooh. We are fast running out of space on this table.
At least that half.
But what's funny is we've only started keeping the beers after, or the empty cans and bottles after at least episode 5, if not later than that, because there's quite a bit of booze at this table. What do you have to say for yourself, young man? Do you regret anything?
Yes, but not in this room.
What do you want to do with your life? I want to rock.
Rock.
Do you want to add rock? He's still alive, so. Oh boy. We're pouring another booze.
I could be an unfit Buddhist. Yes.
God damn it! I poured way too much for one of them.
Haha. You're gonna get drunk.
Nice. There you go. Steve, what are we drinking now?
From the crafty brewing company Mustache, Irish Stout. A charmingly smooth stout with roast coffee and chocolate notes.
Yeah, we had the Irish Red last time.
Yep. It was the same thing and stuff from Lidl, the other German grocery store. Irish Stout. This full-bodied stout has a discerning coffee and chocolate aroma. The depth of flavor is attributed to a high bittering hop and chocolate malt, with an assured favorite for any refined palate, or whatever we like. At the Crafty Brewing Company, we like the finer things in life. Nothing makes us happier than a crisp-tailored shirt or a perfectly coiffed mustache.
Bless you.
Yeah. The text is tiny and my eyes are blurry. What do you want? So, throw off all the shackles of mediocrity and join us in a toast to our fine brews. Actually made in Ireland, imported by Riverside Imports, Brooklyn, Nye.
9? Oh, Nye, not 9.
Science guy.
Dude, build, the science guy. We've had a lot of different ones today I've never had. And then that one was... I got to write it down for the
Tasting
Untapped.
Notes.
The Grafty. I put the Grafty. Let's do Crafty instead. The Crafty.
Crafty sounds pretty funny, too.
Brew. Irish. All right, cool. Is it good?
You're going to not like this. Or I'm a bad liar.
You're a bad liar. You know how I can tell when you're lying? Your lips are moving. Do I have some shit on my face? That's just how my face looks, man. I'm a pirate.
I didn't say I suggest anything.
Ooh, that's good.
That's a good glass of coffee.
How'd you like my Facebook post about the kid? For the listeners, the kid comes up, what's today? Friday?
I'm talking about the old truck.
Yeah, Wednesday night. She said, trick or treat. I was like, oh, here you go. And she goes, Are you supposed to be a pirate? And I look down at what I'm wearing. I'm just wearing what I normally wear in my hat. And I go, no, this is just how I look. She goes, oh, okay. And her mom's laughing her ass off. I look like a pirate, I guess. I mean, there's worse things to look like, but...
Oh, yeah, that's when I said, I'm the captain now.
Well...
No ship.
Oh, boy. Well, at least I didn't dress up like a Turkish author and I was in Saudi Arabia. That would have killed. So if you ever think you have really horrible problems in this country, at least you don't have to deal with that. I mean, certain days suck, but at least we don't wake up wondering if we're going to be killed or not. Because we're all adults.
That's all metaphorical.
Metaphorical?
Everything's like it's a nice light week at work until today. It's like, oh, it's change of the month. You're gonna die.
Do you do the same thing I do at work when
dread it?
Yeah, but this thing too. So you're sitting around, you're going, everything's going really smoothly, and you go, what fucked up thing is just about to happen? And then like less than an hour later, like bam, something happens, and you're like, oh, there it is. I knew it was coming. Do you do the same thing? Okay, good.
I think it's between the excess caffeine to stay awake and the anxiety of such things is why I need to take the tiny aspirins to quell my heart from jumping out of my chest. I'm not worrying about myself. I have successfully outsourced that to my parents, my future in-laws, and my fiance. Mm-hmm. Somehow I'm still worried about it all, but measureless company. It says hi.
It's funny. I can be in here and watch something or whatever, and I'll go shit or some expletive, and I'll get either a text or Emily will come. Are you okay? Yep, I'm good. She goes, oh, okay. I just heard something. I appreciate the concern. I'm glad you care, but no, I'm good. Oh, okay, just making sure.
Yeah, like the other day, I'm running on no sleep, got an oil change, get gas, run by the bank, and then the ATM card's not working. So, like, car comes up behind me, so I just leave and go to the other ATM to see if that'll work. And, like, just yell something horrible and then like storm off and then have a slam on the brakes because hey, somebody's walking in front of me like around the corner. And there's like dude in his car is like, hey man, you okay? Take a breath. Yeah. You want to sell that? Huh? I was like, he's in a 90s Civic that's badly modded. It's like, what? So you can Mad Max this poor thing too? Look at it. Has this car suffered enough? That it doesn't need your malfeasance as well.
Hey, man, everybody has their price.
Yeah, it's like,
So if
no,
homeboy,
like I can't afford anything I like as much as this dumb old car.
so if he
can offer.
if he said, I'll give you $3,000 cash right now for this.
Fine, we'll talk.
All right, yeah. Because if somebody offered me $2,500 for the Jeep, I'd take it. And you know what I'd do?
Such a weird moment. It's like, no, fuck everything. I don't want to be here. No, huh? No, my account's got another one, but it's not a GT. Because you don't want the non-GT one. Like,
no.
It's just pilly bullshit. Like, if I need to get something in a hurry, if this one blows up, well, I have an answer. It's not a good one.
Yeah.
Because the GTs are way tougher to find.
Yeah. Well, 0 to 60 in when's 2019 again?
Yeah, versus
the base
this
model
could actually achieve it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, later cars with the lesser 1.8 that, was a thing from 07 on.
Mm-hmm.
Dreadful-ish. And I think by the time it became the Urus or IM, it was geared better.
I do like that your doppelganger is driving around and merged from Albemarle Road on the way to Saucer the other day. I was like, oh, there's Steve. I'm like, wait a second. That's not Uber.
What are you doing on Albemarle Road? Are you trying to get killed?
He was merging from Albemarle Road.
Yeah, but like if you were...
I was on 45.
Okay.
And he was merging from...
Right.
Yeah.
About...
That make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was at 5:30.
I really want some pizza. For once on the podcast, I don't want wings. I want pizza. I mean, I would eat wings. I would eat those cheap Costco
rather
wings.
have wings.
What time do they close?
8:30.
Well, I don't have a membership anyway.
I do. I don't feel like going there.
Fuck no. That's the opposite way.
It is a steady 10 miles from my place.
Really?
Yeah.
The Matthews one?
Yeah. The one in Tyvola is 30.
Ugh. Which I guess means...
Or at least to take 45 because that's easier rather than going through Elmore Road because it's horrible.
So what is my house, like the 40% from Costco? So it's like 4 miles to my house and 6 more to...
You're kind of the halfway point.
Almost halfway, yeah.
Yeah, getting 51 and keep going. If I make it a target, I went too far.
If you made it a target, you missed your target?
Yes.
Cool. Target is a Walmart for people who with self-respect. You want to hear
I'm shopping higher and I'm shopping lower, but I'm not shopping at Walmart. That said, I'm curious about the Kmart in Fort Rockdale Mill. That's currently closing.
What about the one in Concord? Is it still open?
It's dead.
Oh.
How
dead?
I think it's only a Sears outlet.
And they're almost dead.
Yep.
I remember when Super K was like the Christmas destination as a kid.
And that was right before Walmart took over the everything by about 94.35.
Oh, yes. Yes. And I do remember realizing there wasn't a Santa Claus at a very early age because I love my
you
dad.
Found the trash bag with a Super Nintendo in it.
Try again. Oh, you? Yeah.
That's what did it for me. It's like, I got a feeling I better not say anything because let's not ruin it for my younger siblings.
Yeah, and see, I was the youngest, so I got a little bit of more headway of, hey, by the way, this shit goes on. But
it's like, you're getting this, this, and this, but you don't know anything. What?
Yep, and I think it was...
Damn it, Phaedra!
I think I was 10, 9 or 10, and I got a basketball goal, which I wanted anyway, and had Walmart stickers and shit on it. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what's going on here. Yeah. I was on the fence for a little while. Like, I used to want children, and I'm pretty sure you probably at one time thought about it, but then you wised up like I did. And I was like, what would I do? And I don't...
Dude, it could be such a magical thing. Like, I can't even afford my own lifestyle.
Exactly.
let alone theirs. No, that's the most adorable, terrifying thing ever.
Could you imagine being responsible for another little version of yourself?
Dude, I'm barely responsible for my own self.
Exactly. Like, it's terrible. It sounds terrible. You'd love them and you'd do anything for them. Your life becomes about them.
Yep.
You would unconditionally love them. And it sounds terrible. It sounds horrifyingly terrible.
It's like, yeah, this is going to be the cutest thing that I know I shouldn't do right now.
I love the old Tom Segura. He's like, having kids is not selfish. Not having children is considered selfish. You know what's selfish? Having children and then immediately falling in love with a miniature version of you. See, that's more selfish than not having children.
I have not the time nor the finances for such a thing.
No.
And the more time that passes, the more that's even more reality.
Yep. That's the good part about time going by, though. Because Father Time has its limits with a significant other. Like
hey, why are you guys having kids? Like, when that's affordable. Fuck off. Random person.
That's the problem, because when you're single, it's, hey, are you seeing anybody? And then when you're dating somebody, it's when are you getting married? When you get married, it's when are you having kids? You have your first kid, when are you having another? It never ends. People always want to live vicariously through you.
And the fact that having children could prove fatal for my dear significant other, hey, let's not do that.
Yeah, it sounds like a...
Yeah, like, I do not need to liberate that anymore. Just medically, things got bizarre. So
how bizarre?
I can't coordinate my toes enough.
OMC, Becky. I live in a house full of females that don't have functioning ovaries. Oh boy. But I don't think I would, if I had children, I don't think I would tell them there was a Santa Claus. And also, I don't think if they meet up with, since we're in the South, they would meet like, oh, religion and stuff. I would be like, you think what you want to think. Like, listen to every side and decide what you want to decide. Because I don't want to just say...
Try not to bust out and...
Yeah. Yes.
At any of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's too much indoctrination. It's like, oh, this is what we believe. You have to believe it too.
No.
That's not fair. It's not fair to do that to a child and threaten it with eternal suffering because you think that way. It's not fair. It's not fair to the kid. Cars, bars, guitars, and everything else. That was a really good.
Not pro.
That was a good one to end with. Nice and light, 4.5%er. That's a good one. The crafty.
It's funny because it tasted stronger than the others.
It kind of did.
That coffee note really weighed in heavy on it.
What else? Where did you get the crafties from?
Lidl.
No shit.
That was a $2 bottle.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Or maybe $2.20.
Next time you go, just buy a bunch of them, and I need to look for the 6 Points 5 beans.
Yep.
That's like a great breakfast beer, and
it's funny because in a douchey energy drink can.
It is. By the way, hello Andy Seastead, our favorite on the border waiter. He is going to Lexington this week. His horse. All right, so he's a part owner, and by part I mean he and 199 other people.
It's not a quarter horse. It's his half a cent horse.
He owns a couple of the hares on the mane. So he and 199 other people, 200 people own this racehorse, and I believe they're racing in the Breeders' Cup this weekend in Lexington, where the horses live.
Kim Bill's Utter Band?
Yeah. And he's going to be listening to a lot of our podcasts on the way because he's like, you know what? I'm tired of listening to the same music. I'm going to listen to y'all's podcast instead. I was like, you poor soul. All the way to Lexington. That guy's awesome.
We should have dug up some more pony cars. Oh, no.
Well, we didn't even get past
So
the
it's
Bronco,
like,
the
all right,
Mustang,
so
and the
the
Mustang 2.
Toyota
And the
South
Colt.
Africa emblem or anything Ferrari.
Yeah, but nothing was named after a horse.
Hey, it was wearing a horse. Did you ever see that that sticker had on the first truck? That Toyota emblem with the horse on it?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently that is the South African Toyota emblem. And I cannot find another of that sticker.
That's weird on the internet, not being able to find something on the internet.
It was from my parents' mechanic shop in Greensboro that they had just this cabinet of random stickers and stuff. So I found that, and during the time I had the truck, like, how much you want for this? Let's take it. Cool.
Yeah.
Let her realize, like, A, what the hell this is, or two, maybe that's one of one. So now I kind of regret, like, well, definitely hit a telephone pole with it. So, like, that sticker's right where the bumper got beat up from the pole. Like, the sticker still held up pretty well from it, but it's, black print with, like, a chrome background on it against a chrome bumper. So it's not perfect, but it lives on as an Instagram post.
Which
I'll add that to the Instagram page that I've neglected since we started this thing. But yes, it's a thing because Instagram CBGPod.
You said you were going to update and post more. I don't know if you have or not because I don't have an Instagram. So
I say this and because I haven't. Apparently, it is now so old they did away with the profile picture I had for it.
Might have to investigate that. And
fuck you, other Facebook.
I don't even have an Instagram.
You don't have 3 of them?
No.
Not one. Like, I've got a personal, I got a cars, and I got the CBGPod one.
All right. Well, update, update that one. And
I tried to make a Twitter page too, and it didn't go anywhere. So
which one?
That other platform where everybody hates everything. Doesn't matter.
Bash.org.
MySpace.
There's just too much shit going on in social media. And just because you have freedom of speech doesn't mean you should exercise that right all the time. Says
Exercise that wrong all the time.
Oh boy.
Free speech, free speech, free speech for the dumb, for the dumb. Brought to you by Dispatch, covered by Metallica.
Their first album was supposed to be called Metal Up Your Ass, but they couldn't do that, so they made it Kill 'Em All, which is
frankly sounds more aggressive.
It does sound more aggressive.
It's like they're both aggressive, but
Well, one is anal penetration and one is murder. I mean,
America.
Anal penetration with metal sounds bad, but murder sounds kind of worse. Which is weird because you can see murder and death on regular television, but you can't see nudity. So, what's worse, blood and guts or tits? I think blood and guts are worse than tits.
Yep.
I like tits. I've been a pretty big fan of them for 32 years.
Tits is one of Carlin's dirty words. Murder, death, kill. Anything else from Demolition Man? Not so much.
Shit. The 7 dirty words. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. And then fart, turd, and twat were the other 3 honorable mentions. I don't. There are no bad words. I'm with Carlin. There's no bad words. Bad thoughts, bad intentions, no bad words. Words are just words. Steve, one of the longer ones we've done. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Suckers.
When Mark's on here, we're going to be doing like 3 hours. He's going to go on a wine or BMW or the Rotary's the best engine ever made tangent, and we're going to go over 3 hours. That's going to be I'm calling it right now. That's our record breaker, is the episode with him. I'm looking forward to having because we have to get our guests to play other stupid games with us, like their
Sure.
3-car garages.
Yeah.
And their favorite booze. But we're going to need a bigger table. We're going to need a bigger boat.
I don't see this floating, even if it did have all the bottles and cans on it.
That's not the can-do attitude that built this country. I bet I said attitude. I really need some food.
Go eat something.
You too.
Fine.
All right. Well,
You're skinny.
you are too. No! The universe has blessed us with,
Shitty schedules and high metabolisms.
something like that, yes. And pretty highly functioning livers. When I got my physical back, and they were like, your liver enzymes came back normal. I'm like, sorry, could you repeat what you just said to me? They came back, what? Normal? Like, within a high and low range? Like, normal? Like, yeah. Like, high five, little buddy. Well, you know what? Ouch. Well, Steve, I think episode 19, we're going to be into our 20s soon. We're going to be doing episodes older than we are.
That's not how the numbering works, but yeah, that's cool.
All right, well, this is fun as always, and for CBGPod episode 19, I'm AJ.
I'm Steve.
Steve, we're done. What are we going to do now?
Quadruples.
The same thing we do every day, Pinky? Go on vacation?
Try to take over the world.
Episode 20 will be in 2 weeks. Laters, Gators.
These biggest.